Alright fellas, good job so far in the National League Championship. Win this next game against Manurewa, we're probably booked into the final. And if we can knock out the Northern League champions, which, Northern League's really bad these days. So that's funny. So let's make sure we beat them, and also should make sure we play a team we're more familiar with in the final in Western or Nelson suburbs, okay? We know those teams. We don't quite know as much about Manurewa, okay? So let's pick up a win here and set up a nice comfy final that we should be winning.
Party in the streets and the city's on fire.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 138 of the New Zealand Builder Nation here on Shaun Does FM with both the All Whites and Cashmere Technical. I hope you're doing well, and coming up today we've got a late season game in the National League Championship, and it's a clash between the Southern League champions and the Northern League champions as we take on Manurewa, and we should get a pretty clear idea as well as to who will be taking on in the final in a couple of days off the back of that game. So if you're looking forward to that, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. But yesterday started off the week with the Chatham Cup final where we took on Napier City Rovers. If you missed that one, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner. Thankfully, we picked up in the end a relatively comfortable win. They did score a few goals there in the second half, did Napier, but a 5-2 win to continue our solid form, I'd say, off the back of the Club World Cup. Nothing too special, but still picking up wins with a couple of big results thrown in here and there. And it did actually continue off the back of that Chatham Cup final. It started off with a 4-0 win over Wellington Olympics, so the form continued. Then 2-0 over the Phoenix Reserves. To be fair, that's not too bad a result. The Phoenix Reserves actually one of the teams who've tested us the most so far in the save, despite the fact they've never really been that close to making their way into a National League final. And then the big one probably since you were last here, we took on Western Suburbs, the Central League champions, and we won this one 3-1. Almada's early goal got cancelled out by a Thomas equaliser, but second half couple of goals there to Sergio Arce and Andre Salcedo did mean we picked up an important win at my arena, and off the back of that, we then beat the team who finished just below them in the Central League in Havelock North 3-0. Some good wins there over Central League opposition, at least based opposition. Of course, the Phoenix Reserves not actually in the Central League, but we've been up there on the teams from the middle region of New Zealand. It does actually mean we've already booked our spot in the final. When I record the intro for this one, I did it right off the back of yesterday's episode, and Nelson Suburbs and Manurewa have dropped some points since then. So it does mean that really, if we win this game over Manurewa, that probably sets up a final where we take on Western Suburbs in a couple of days' time. In between now and then, have got an international window. I think we'll just show you guys tomorrow the game against Tunisia, not the Senegal one, because we've played Senegal quite a bit in the save recently, because they're quite easy to beat with us, albeit as you might see later in today's episode when we pick our squad. A couple of injuries going into that upcoming window, which might make things a bit tricky, but those teams who have dropped points recently, Manurewa, a draw in there, and also they did suffer a loss that was to Western Suburbs and Nelson Suburbs. Of late, they've been beaten by Auckland City. They've started to find some form, albeit far too late, and also Wellington Olympics. So the two teams there who are trying to stop Western Suburbs from making yet another final have slipped up recently. So by the end of today's episode, it could be locked in for another clash between the two big teams here in New Zealand currently for this season's National League. But thankfully, no injury concerns going into this game against Manurewa. As I said, the Northern League champions, albeit that doesn't mean a heck of a lot these days, because the Northern League not too good. If we go back and have a look at the current table for the National League Championship, Manurewa up in 4th, but the other teams from the Northern League in 7th, 9th and 10th. So the Northern League, probably weakest league in New Zealand at this point, but Western Suburbs, we're playing them quite a bit in grand finals, and I play Nelson Suburbs quite a bit off camera. We make our way through the Southern League, so this did look like the game that might be the most interesting in this Championship League phase of the National League, seeing as they did finish above Auckland City, and in fact it was East Coast Bays who finished second this season in that league. But hopefully we can pick up a win here, even though that probably does lock in the fact it'll be Western Suburbs yet again in a grand final. We'll come back shortly from Memorial Park to take on Manurewa. And here are the team sheets for this clash between the Southern League champions and the Northern League champions. There are Manurewa. They are going with a 4-3-3 to be fair. No big names in that team that I am aware of. There we're at full strength, but still Salcedo over Khaled. We'll try and give Khaled some match fitness in a friendly while we're away on international duty with All Whites. And hopefully off the back of that, he might be able to feature in the last couple of games of the season, albeit Salcedo has been doing a pretty good job at hopefully pick up a win here and fully rule Manurewa out of the final race. And in fact, very shortly into this game, only 3 minutes, an early corner here in our favour. Thiago Almada will put this one into the mix of going near far post. And Sergio Arce leaps like a salmon. I think that is for the second game in a row. He's definitely scored a couple of goals in that little patch I've played since yesterday's episode. But Arce now doing a decent job from these set pieces in Almada. We should be doing well with him taking them. He's quite good at set pieces, penalties, all that type of stuff. That's the reason we signed him before the Club World Cup. But a brilliant start. We 1-0 up early. And going forward about 10 minutes off back of that opening goal, and again here we are on the attack, and it looks like a bit of a counter-attack as well as Manurewa now being caught short just a little bit. Salcedo there with a shot looking for that bottom left corner, but a decent save there from the Manurewa goalkeeper as Western Suburbs are 1-0 up over East Coast base. So I think that would lock in the final for this season's National League. Unfortunately, that corner from Almada a bit too deep, unlike the previous one, but it's been a good start. Still 1-0 in front. And unfortunately, not much has happened off the back of that second highlight you saw before where we had a chance through Salcedo and then a corner where not much did go right off the back of that. Now, a couple of players here have dropped down to red hearts before half-time. Thankfully, they've been bumped up here as we do go into the sheds, but 1-0 thanks to the early goal through Arce from that corner. But to be fair, second part of that first half, not too great. 3 shots on target, 6 overall. The XG, though, only 0.47. Manurewa, their chance actually one of the higher ones XG, but unfortunately for them, they did miss the target. But I think we'll just leave these players out there at the moment. They're doing a decent job, and hopefully, as we've tended to do lately, they can run over the top of the Northern League champions late, as we currently are only 1-0 in front. And in fact, only a couple of minutes here into the second half, and a couple of players already are dropping down to red hearts. We've got Sam Clark there in the deep line playmaker, and also Greenwich that didn't pop up on the other screen. So we're going to make a couple of subs here, keep these boys fresh, especially as some of them will be in the All Whites. Dotman de Villiers will come on for Greenwich, and also Tristan Turner for Sam Clark. Still 1-0 Cashmere. And just shy of the hour mark, we get the first highlight here of the second half. It's actually a free kick in favour of Manurewa. We still haven't put these guys to bed, so they could actually find a way to grab something from this game. But thankfully, good work there from one of our subs into Hotman de Villiers down the left-hand side. Fine zoomers, a nice ball forward there to Salcedo. Tight angle, makes his way inside the box, but again gets denied there by a good save. I think that is Bugler in goal for Manurewa this season. A couple of good saves there when Salcedo has gone looking for that bottom left corner. Another corner. Arce gets up for it this time, just off target. Good couple of chances there, but still only 1-0 in front. Western Suburbs 4-0. Think that's the final in a couple of days' time, but a couple of players now are down to red hearts. Louis Evans is one of them. He's an all white. Jack Honey can come on for him and play as a ball-winning midfielder for this last half hour and hopefully help us grab a cushion goal. Still only 1-0 in front. And just about to make our way into the last 10 minutes of this game, we still haven't got a goal really to put these guys to bed, which is a bit concerning, albeit as I say that, there is a highlight now. We try and play a ball over the top there looking for zoomers. Can't quite find him. And Manurewa might get a chance here to do something on the counter-attack, albeit Turner. Big shove in the back. They're not blown up, and we get the ball back inside the final third. Now Debenham tries to put that one top right corner. It comes off the woodwork off the back of a save from their goalkeeper, and then it falls to Salcedo, who finally can beat the man there and get a goal. That's the third chance now he's had, and thankfully this time he puts it away. To be fair, they probably should have dealt with the danger there, Manurewa, through that defender, but for some reason Salcedo does beat him to the ball, and thankfully that is the case. To be fair, Salcedo before then on an absolute stinker of a rating, a 6.3, now a 7.2, but thankfully that should bank the 3 points here. A corner shortly off the back of that Anderson, he got up, but again, just not quite on target, so some chances late, as has tended to be the case here recently with this Kashmir Tech team. Would be nice if we could put teams to the sword a bit sooner than that. A bicycle kick there from a Manurewa player from that corner, but thankfully that goes straight into the path of Cifuentes. That would have been a fun goal to concede. And now we're down the other end here for a corner of our own. 5-2 Western Suburbs make that 5-3. All sorts going on there in that game between them and East Coast Bays. A chance there for Salcedo again, but that one always looked like it was going a bit high. And I think Fugler, that is in goal, makes another save on the chance from Salcedo. We take the corner short, goes back out to Almada, trying to find Zoomers, can't quite find him, and Manurewa will clear that out for a front. In fact, that will do it for this game. Wasn't up to too much, but we were always in control, just really struggling to put teams to bed here early in games like we usually do at Cashmere. To be fair, that's been happening for quite a while now off the back of the Club World Cup, so hopefully that won't come and bite us in the bum and make our way into the National League Grand Final, which, as you can see, is definitely against Western Suburbs, especially because Nelson got held to a draw by the Phoenix Reserves. So in a couple of days' time, we know it's going to be us and Western Suburbs yet again in a National League Final off the back of that 2-0 win over Manurewa. So yet another solid win for us here at Cashmere Tech, and we do book our ticket to the National League Grand Final, and it will be against Western Suburbs, and that one will probably come up in a couple of days' time, probably on Thursday, before we get stuck into the Champions League again on Friday, because before then, we do, of course, have an international window, as I said earlier, with the All Whites against Senegal and Tunisia. And before we actually go forward and wrap up things for today's episode, seeing as that final has already been locked in, nothing interesting happening on the final match day, where we do take on, I believe, East Coast Bays down near the bottom of the National League. But a couple of injuries going into this upcoming window. So I think we'll run through the squad now, considering I'm going to show you guys the highlights of the Senegal game, because we've played them quite a bit recently and beaten them. But to be fair, they might actually have a chance this time, Senegal, because as you can see, that's one first choice player out there, Martin Darman, a late injury. So Harrison Debenham, these days the third choice right back with the All Whites, our youngster through one of our recent youth intakes here at Cashmere Tech. So he might get his first All Whites cap in that window, which we will run through in tomorrow's episode, but also going over to the national team, and you can see our squad going into this upcoming window. Of course, it's actually the first time I've looked at the All White squad since Alex Paulson in real life has gone to Auckland FC. We did predict that, just didn't think it would be via Bournemouth. That's a bit cheeky, but we did have Alex Paulson and Michael Wood at AFC Auckland at the same time, I think, previously in the safe. So I am somewhat accurate in predicting the future. Just didn't think it would be as soon as the first season that the club did exist. But Paulson's in goal. We've got Bindon, Kelly-Heald and Phoenix now at right back. I think it'll have to be Tressel Niankuru as first choice with Debenham as his backup, but that is a little bit of a weak area. Probably going to end up being Louis Evans and Michael Cornelius Beale instead of Marcus Vinicius and Sam Clark in midfield, albeit against Senegal, we might be able to get away with that. Chris Jones, still the first choice right winger because Justin Keat still out with that big injury. So it does mean Callum Kelly, the wonder kid we discovered against PNG, can keep his spot in the squad, hopefully, and back up that debut free goal performance with another one in this window over in Africa. And also at left wing, we have got Josh Pickering, Chris Green just back up because Jacob Hall-Jones is out with injury as well. So a couple of backups there who usually wouldn't make their way into the squad. And also, the big one, we've got no George McDonald. Let's just go find our key player here with the All Whites. Once we make our way over to the right page, there's our captain. He's injured, and it is a broken foot. 7 weeks to 3 months. So thankfully, not too long. Hopefully be back in time for that World Cup next year. But it does mean that Prince Kamalo does get a call up in behind Wata Uelese. So we've got a couple of backup players a bit different looking to what we've had previously here in the All White squad. To be fair, last time we didn't have George McDonald. We played Senegal, we're all over them, but somehow it was a 0-0 draw. So hopefully that won't happen before we come back for tomorrow's episode. And hopefully we can also pick up a win over Tunisia and keep ourselves near enough to that top 30 in the world rankings. Also these days, John Chronopoulos a bit better than Henry Gray as a goalkeeper. So he comes in alongside Debenham and Paulson as the third choice goalkeeper, the shot stopper there for Western Suburbs, the former American, a little bit better than someone like the previous Cashmere Tech goalkeeper in Josh Hawkins. And also, Shaun Pearce from Aberdeen does come in as the backup to Jamie Young. And that's actually not because Kelly is injured, but because he's better these days, the highly promising 20-year-old from over in Scotland. So a couple of changes there to our usual all-white squad for this upcoming window, but hopefully we can pick up a couple of decent results these days. We are ranked 32nd in the world, and thankfully, something good's happened off back of the last window that we did play Senegal. It finally sunk like they should have a long time ago, down to 37th in the world. So it does mean this upcoming window we're playing two teams below us on the world rankings. Hopefully we can pick up some wins in tomorrow's episode, but that will do it for today. We've got Western Suburbs yet again in a New Zealand National League final. If you enjoyed that episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well until tomorrow for this international window where we take our boys over to Africa and we'll probably also sneak in a bus trip over in Tunisia. Thank you very much for watching, keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.